Hey everybody, it's Randy Wolf. Would you like to know how to estimate your cost of repairs for your next renovation that you're going to be doing? Maybe it's the first time you're flipping a property and you're very confused on how to do that. In this video, I'm going to talk about that. So stick around until the very end and let's dive in. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And one of the members of our community posted a question. They actually sent me a message via Facebook and had a great question. And it was, how do we know how to come up with a price or cost of repairs? We're really kind of confused on this. And so I thought, man, this is a great video to shoot because I remember when I first got started and I honestly had no idea. And I would say probably the majority of investors out there, if you got like very skilled investors together and you walked a property and you said, okay, ask two questions. What is the ARV of this property and what is the cost of repairs? You're going to get some different answers. And particularly like people just starting out, it's very hard to understand how to figure this stuff out because if you're not a skilled contractor or have a background in construction, you're not going to really know how to do that. So I have a very, very easy, simple to follow process that I'm going to share with you today. I want to preview this by saying that this is a guide and it is a rule of thumb so that you can feel confident making offers on properties. And then obviously once they're under contract, you would then have a contractor, preferably two to three contractors, go out and bid this property for you. So I again want to stress this. Don't just plug this in and then, go out there and buy a property without getting a quote because there are some factors that can change this. For example, whatever market you're in, you could be in a market where things are a lot more expensive. I can guarantee I'm in South Carolina and it probably costs more money in California and San Diego to renovate a property than it does in Columbia, South Carolina. Okay. So you do want to get a contractor involved, but this is a rule of thumb and it should really help you to understand what it's going to cost. All right. So let's just dive in here. Okay, so to start out with, let's talk about the different types of renovations that you're going to have. People refer to them as, you hear like light cosmetic or these different terminologies to keep things real simple, because I like think keeping things simple. Is we're just going to have basically four categories. We're going to have light, we're going to have average, we're going to have above average, and we're going to have heavy. Those are going to be the four categories that I'm going to have. And let me scoot over out of the way a little bit so you can see this when it pops up on the screen. So those are the categories: light, average, above average, and heavy. Now, what is a light? Light is going to be basically your paint and flooring. So paint, maybe carpet in the bedrooms, LVP floor throughout the house, that sort of thing. That's going to be something that, again, the more you get to do this and the more you work with certain contractors, you'll start to get a feel for, okay, if a house is X square feet, I can know that my paint and my floor is going to be about this much times the square footage of the home. But again, that's going to be further in time. This is geared towards someone that really does not know and has no idea. So light carpet and paint only, I'm going to tell you how to calculate it. Average is going to be your light plus we're going to do kitchen and bathrooms, remodel or update the kitchen and bathrooms. Above average is going to be carpet, paint, kitchen and baths, and we're going to include one major item such as a roof, HVAC, replacing the windows in the house. It could even be like new siding, vinyl siding on the house. It could be adding plumbing if you need to go in and like swap out the plumbing, it's old copper pipes or something like that. That's going to be above average. If it is more than one of those big things, it's going to go into our heavy category. Also in our heavy category, this is going to be like a full renovation. You're going to go in there and, be demoing things and basically, practically gutting the house and doing a full complete renovation. That's going to fall under that heavy category. Okay. So we have those four categories that I mentioned. Then from there, we're going to look at it by square feet. Square feet is a really good way to figure out what it's going to cost because obviously materials and the higher the square feet, the more materials it's going to need. And of course, there's going to be more time involved. So we look at it from a standpoint of like 750 square feet to 3,000 square feet. Anything over 3,000 square feet, you're going to probably, you can look at this guide that I'm going to show you and you can add some to it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to get too much into that because most of the properties you're going to probably be renovating is below 3,000 square feet anyway. So let's just stick with that today. And if you need help with that, be sure to reach out in our community and I can help you with getting a ballpark idea of what it's going to cost if it's over 3,000. But for today, 750 to 1,300 square feet. If you're doing a light renovation, like a cosmetic light renovation, you're looking at about $20,000. This is a shock to a lot of people because they're like, whoa, 20,000 bucks. Are you kidding me? But when you factor in flooring, when you factor in paint, and then particularly there's going to usually be some other things associated with that. So like if you're doing floor and paint, you've got trim, you've got ceilings, you've got the shoe mall, you've got it ends up adding up very, very, very quickly. So you're looking at about $20,000. Can you get it done for less than that? Sure. You can get it done for less, particularly if you're doing like rental properties and you're just doing kind of like basic low end stuff. Sure, you can, but it's good to budget this like you're going to and following these guidelines so that you don't find yourself in trouble. All right. And this also would have a little bit maybe extra built in there. So again, that's what you're looking at. 1,300 to 2,000 square feet or 2,200 square feet. You're looking at about $28,000 for that. You're looking at from 2,200 square feet to 3,000 square feet, about 41 to $42,000 for that. Now again, that's light. That lets you know on a light renovation, a big house, it's going to be, I mean, painting and floor can add up pretty quickly. All right. On an average, you're looking at for a 750 to 1,300 square foot home, you're looking at about 45,000. I've got some good coffee from one of my classmates from the Citadel. We went to visit him in Hawaii, and it's this coconut style coffee. It's amazing. Anyway, $45,000 for 750 to 1,300 square feet. 1,300 to 2,200 for an average is about $55,000. And then, of course, you got 2,200 to 3,000. You're talking about 62.5 for that. So as you can see, you start getting into major things you're going to see in a moment. It gets really expensive and you need to prepare for those things. All right. Above average, 750 to 1,300, you're looking at about 62,500. At 1,300 to 2,200, you're looking at about 82.5. And for 2,200 to 3,000, above average renovation is going to cost you about 93 to 94,000 bucks for that. All right. And then when you get into the heavy, this is like major, like full guts. This is like multiple things, roofs, HVAC systems, plumbing, the whole nine. You get into this 750 to 1,300, you're looking at like 80,000 bucks. 1,300 to 2,200, 110,000, and 2,200 to 3,000 square feet, you're looking at about $125,000. That is a good formula that you can use. And what I want you to do is if you run into a situation where there is some foundation issues, I want you to add 35,000 to that. Foundation issues can be, $5,000 to fix, could be 50,000 or more to fix. Foundation issues are going to require you to have a specialist come out there and take a look at it. However, the idea of this is to give you some good, solid ballpark estimates so that you can make an offer and be confident in your offer, get the property under contract, and then you're going to do that due diligence and have your contractors go out there and give you some solid estimates. Okay. Very important because you don't want to find yourself in a bad spot to where you overpay for a property and then the budget ends up going way higher than what you expected, then you lose money. Using these formulas that I've just shown you can really put you in a good position. And what happens, and it's even better, is you do this, you get a deal, and then maybe your contractor, it comes in a little bit less. Hey, that's great. Now you've got some contingency built in there to where now you're not so worried about going over your budget. But typically it's been my experience, and I think anybody that's honest, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that aren't all that honest about things. If people are being honest, you're going to see going over the budget more often than being way under budget. So you always want to have a contingency built in there. And so these numbers kind of give you that cushion. Can you paint a 1,000 square foot house and put floor and paint in for under 20,000? Yes, you can. But you want to have that contingency kind of built in there, that cushion. And so that does that with this formula that I've presented you. So I hope that helps. Do me a huge favor. If you have, I want to thank my member of our community who brought this to my attention. He actually sent me a message on Facebook, but please post it in the Facebook group. Starting Strong, our Facebook group is Real Estate Investors Starting Strong. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I think I have it in the YouTube channel, a link in the YouTube channel, not the description, but I think it's in our main channel. You can find the link and join it. We just kicked it off the very first of the year, and we are growing fast. We're putting a lot of great content out. So check it out. Go in there, ask your questions, and then I'll do a video like this, or some of the people in the group can help. So do that. And then, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure and like this video and follow our YouTube channel. It's just my name, Randy Wolf. Follow the YouTube channel and turn on the little bell notification thing. That way you get notified when we do new videos. But as always, thank you so much. And I hope you have an amazing year investing in real estate. Take care. Bye-bye.